Hi, and welcome to an episode where we discuss a weird side of the uncanny valley that I didn't know existed in
In
5D.
5D.
So I kind of want to dive right into this just because it's fresh on my
Okay.
head and I'm looking at it.
Okay.
And we just watched it, right? So who's ready for a sentence they didn't think was going to happen, least of all in 2022? And let me say this and then let me, of course, immediately caveat it.
All
All
right.
right.
Hold on. I also just want to state that Bonsai has never seen the picture or the graphic that I'm about to put up.
I have not. I have not. Um, is it bad? Okay. So Polly fucking Shore is playing Pinocchio. Yeah. Okay. That works. That fits. So, and as much as it sounds like I'm trying to be like Polly fucking Shore, what I really mean by this is like this is a weird comeback for Pauly Shore. I say this as somebody who personally, I get why people don't. I loved the Pauly Shore shtick. I grew up on the Pauly Shore shtick.
Let me also
It,
state that I am also into the Polly Shore shtick. Like,
the, the Weasel was great. I loved it. It's
loved it.
fantastic.
A Goofy movie. I'm in.
It's a weird pull of his, but okay.
'Cause it was the same character though.
No, sure.
It was the same
Just a
character.
weird pull.
No.
It's just a weird
Here's why
pull.
it's relevant. It was the same character in an animated film, and it fit.
Okay. But yeah, like I really enjoyed Son-in-Law. I really enjoyed Encino Man.
Encino Man was great.
Even In the Army Now was kind of, but I love that character. I've actually been saying for a while. I think the world is ready for like old man Pauly Shore kind of vibe. You know what I mean? Like
So,
this,
so
this.
this is your fault.
It,
You put
hold
that
on,
out
we're not
into
there
the
yet. We're not there
universe.
yet. We're not there
Okay,
yet.
okay.
We're not there
I'm
yet.
sorry. I'm sorry.
So
I'm gonna drink my tea and calm the fuck down.
I was ready for Pauly Shore to like play somebody's eccentric dad in a sitcom. You know what I
Okay.
mean? He was the weird 90s guy who had a kid too young, but he's still got his own eclectic vibe, and he's from that raw generation of hyper progressive rights. He was into like the metrosexual, pansexual,
Or
omnisexual
kind of
thing
like
before it was like a stated thing.
yeah, or like Cougar Town, right? Like you have a character that hasn't quite grown up.
But like and yet he's still politically relevant. Genuinely, it's not an ass kiss thing. It's not an oh look what I've learned. This is that dude. Think back on like the Weasel, and he was this weird uh uh non-binary kind of ultra hipster from the future. He was it like
Yeah, in a way.
there's that persona just bangs today. You put that on a young androgynous 20 something and you have a hit Twitch stream.
That's true.
So take that character, but leave it be Pauly Shore and let the dude who made this write it out now when it works. And I was like, fuck, that slaps. I'd be into that. That's a good premise right there. He's
Mm-hmm.
the like shit my dad says, like my dad's cool but embarrassing because he's pre-cool. It's a thing, dude. This is a lane that would play. And yet what we're getting, here's my segue, and yet what we are actually getting is Pauly Shore's Pinocchio in a straight to DVD animated feature where the and so Pauly Shore, John Heater, Tom Kenny as the leads in this film, or at least the ones they're gonna, put on the box art, has gone for a look for Pinocchio that from 5 feet out does not look wooden.
Yeah.
And it's this weird lane of the uncanny valley where we want our robots to look like robots and we want our people to look like people. Well, they made their puppet look too much like a people, but it's not a puppet. And isn't the whole point of Pinocchio that he's a goddamn puppet? This is a puppet who I think if he was like, if it was raining and he threw a hood on, you'd never notice it was a puppet.
Yeah, right.
Why
like,
did we do this design?
I don't know. I think the hard part is
This is what's been the second that trailer started. I went, "That's Pinocchio," and that has
Yeah.
not stopped gnawing at my mind.
well, like his eyes. Why are they so human?
Why is his everything and his skin tone like maybe give him some rougher, more jagged edges to show he's a puppet? But I
Yeah,
mean, really, he's like, "I want to be a boy," and it's like, well, you're like one paint job away from it, bud. So you're fine.
What are you really going for there? Although I gotta say, I think the hardest part for me was when Pauly Shore started talking, and it wasn't Pauly Shore doing a Pinocchio voice. It was just fucking Pauly Shore.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want, something. Oh my god! I just
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
I lost it. I laughed out loud. I'm gonna watch this because I have to.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
so I'm not prejudging it as bad. I'm just saying like
I mean, I will. So another one of like I consider the guy an acting one-hit wonder. I haven't seen anything else he's been in where I went, there he is. And honestly, I don't even like the thing he's famous for. So the horse in this is going to be John Heater.
John Heater.
Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, okay.
I realize I'm in the minority. I'm not trying to fucking yuck anybody's yum. A lot of people I know love the film. I don't think Napoleon Dynamite's funny. It just doesn't work for me. I watched that whole movie. I laughed at one scene. I told the story. I laughed at one scene. 0 other people in the theater laughed at the only scene that I laughed at. And that's when I realized me and this film's audience are just on different wavelengths. We're not playing the same game.
I know. We've talked about this. There are 2 jokes that just fucking kill me in this entire fucking film. And that's kind of it.
Because it's a cult classic. It has its following. He's done other things. I'm not trying to knock his career. Just for me, if you're coming out of the gate and you're like, it's a John Heater comedy, I'm like, I'll rent it. The dude just doesn't do it for me.
100%. I don't like the character, his archetype character that he plays. Like, it's just that, I don't know. Even like, one of his better ones for me is School for Scoundrels. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I didn't care for it.
It wasn't the best. I like Billy Bob Thornton, but it felt a little too much like they watched Anger Management and were like, we can make that edgier.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like. But it had some funnier bits. I don't know that I've ever even a lot of people talk about him a lot because of D&D.
Yeah, and I guess what's funny is
Critical Role.
Yeah. So what's funny is it wasn't until somebody in your and my D&D game reminded me that he did an episode or a couple episodes, an episode, however long he was on.
I think
he was on Critical
at least
Role.
2.
And it wasn't until he reminded me, I was like, holy shit, he was. And then it wasn't until he reminded me, I was like, and I hated him on it.
Yeah. Yes.
I did not. Now that I remember it, I did not enjoy his episodes. I thought he was terrible.
I no offense. Nothing against the dude. Like, we're not trying to pile on him, but
again, he's got his fans, so
yeah. I didn't like it. I thought it still felt like he was playing his character versus.
And his character is never. Another thing I don't like is you're supposed to become a character. Unfortunately, all of his characters are centered around a personal choice of his. All of his characters are Mormon. He won't play a not Mormon character.
Yeah,
he made a specific reference to like his character not drinking in Critical Role because he can't play like it's fantasy, bud. You're in a land of orcs and goblins. Your character doesn't need to be Mormon. It colors everything he touches. He won't play not Mormon, and it bothers me. It bothers me.
Fair enough. I honestly just think that whatever. That same character, like everybody has him. You know, they've got their characters. It's always like,
you love or hate Matthew McConaughey. The dude's not a heroin addict and didn't start doing heroin, but managed to play an AIDS-ridden drug addict. He was the drug addict in that, right? I saw it once. But you know what I mean?
What, Dallas Buyers Club?
Yeah. I thought he also did heroin, but maybe I'm wrong. But you get what I mean. There's plenty of people who do and pretend to do things for movies and don't have to do that thing. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why you need your personal life to pierce the veil of every project you work on. That's a personal choice, and it's a choice that drags me out of your film.
Fair enough. I honestly just don't like the characters.
He's also just not great.
That's just it. Like, the character's always supposed to be these lovable idiots, but they miss the lovable part.
Yeah,
that's the problem, and so it just comes off like
where we'll circle it back around. Pauly Shore, lovable idiot.
Yeah, because most of the time Pauly Shore was pretty harmless. Like, he was annoying, but he was pretty harmless.
I fuck with Pauly Shore's character. I'm sorry, it was not annoying. That dude had currency in my fucking household. You have no idea.
No.
Well, you probably have an idea. You've met me and my brother.
Yeah. No. It was. Let's be honest. If you're not us weird kids, he's annoying. The normies fucking hate him. He dresses weird. He says inappropriate things. He's fucking hilarious. His whole attitude, like, it felt like what everybody thought Californians were like.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. And yet, like, there we were, like, this is, like, we've met one of this guy, and he was cool. Yeah. That's all we had. That's it. It was not really a thing.
Yeah. It's just kind of funny. I liked it. It's like Bobcat Goldthwait, right? Not a lot of people. I can't do it. I've never been able to.
Give it one more try. Just give it your best shot.
Bobcat Goldthwait?
Goldthwait.
I said Goldthwait.
I think you threw me off. Goldthwait. Bobcat Goldthwait. See?
Okay. I don't know what's real anymore.
Your reality is infectious and it's destroying my own.
You're welcome. Monster. I have now become an SCP.
Bobcat Goldthwait.
Bobcat Goldthwait.
You got
anyways, it. His whole persona, like, not a lot of people are into that.
Yeah, it's not for it's like the Andrew Dice Clay thing. It had its moment. It's gone. Yeah, it's gone now.
I still watch those movies every so often. Although I do cringe a lot more than I used to when I was younger. Right, going back to watch like the Police Academies and
You know what's one who I feel like just gets such a bad rep? I almost want you to pull up an image just because the image of him now is actually mildly terrifying.
All right, give me a name.
And I go back and I watch his big movie, Carrot Top. Hear me the fuck out. Hold on. I know that the bile is boiling up in people's throats and they are ready to spew their vomity hatred all over this. Give me a second here. First of all, he gets this bad rep literally just for being a prop comic. And my whole thing is like, bro, just a few years ago, we were all into the motherfucker with puppets. So why the fuck is puppets okay and prop comedy is not? One is not better than the other. It's barely even different. It's all a fucking prop, okay? Second, and this I know a lot of people won't like this, but at least when he was at his prime, one of the things I really respected Louis C.K. for was how often he refreshed his material. Again, we're not talking about the guy, we're talking about a work ethic. Apparently, he would only tour with his set of material for about a year, and then and it was constantly being reworked, right? Mm-hmm. The set would change nearly every night as he tested jokes, and then he'd do a big special with the perfected set, and then basically all of those jokes were retired. Where think about a lot of the other guys, your Jeff Dunhams, your Dimitri Martins, your Jim Gaffigans. When you go see them live, they'll play the hits, so to speak.
Yeah.
So you'll get a couple of the big jokes that they do, or versions of. Louis C.K. didn't do that. Well, apparently Carrot Top is the same way. Even though he has a Vegas show, he is constantly reworking his set and has an entire warehouse of props that he has. Mm-hmm. That he has like multiple jokes for every prop. you got to give credit to work ethic, especially in an industry like stand-up. That dude works at his job. Secondly, the movie he did is fucking funny. I think it holds up. I still rewatch it. Did you ever see Chairman of the Board?
Okay, so.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Okay.
But I don't fucking remember any of it. Not a goddamn
That's the best
scene.
picture. Oh my god, you just got the best picture. Because
why do you think it took me so long to find a graphic?
Yeah,
because
you nailed it. So you have him in his awkward, like, late 90s, early 2000s, like, I'm just the redheaded dork. And then you have him now, which is like a little bit of guy liner and yoked as fuck. Dude, he's jacked.
Yep.
Homeboy's just... And credit on not losing the hair. The hair looks great. The hair, like, was his signature, and he's really not... He's dyed it, but he's added shades of red. Yeah. He's riding the Carrot Top thing, not masking it, not hiding it, not trimming it. He's doing it.
The only thing...
Dude's owning his look.
The only thing I'm a little, like, weirded out about was he clearly has had some work done, right? I don't mean to be catty, but...
No.
He's clearly had some work done. And
working out will have done some of that, but yes, absolutely. He's had something besides just the fitness. But I will say the fitness I do see as being a fairly large part of what you're seeing.
Oh, for sure, for sure. It's just sometimes you get that uncanny valley as well.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
So, Chairman of the Board, honestly, I think holds up. The whole premise... He's like a low-key inventor who's known. Kind of, you ever seen that guy on YouTube who's like, I invent worthless things?
Yeah.
He's kind of like a step above that. His stuff is not worthless, but it's more zany and impractical.
Yeah.
So he meets the owner of some invention company, essentially. Remember that 90s thing where you could have a company that didn't really do anything in particular?
Yeah.
He meets the guy who owns that company, Acme. He meets the guy who owns, for lack of a better name,
well,
Acme.
Acme's the exact opposite. They do everything. That's the joke.
Sure, okay, sure. These guys do a little bit of... they invent stuff. That's what this company does. And so the guy's about to die, and instead of leaving the company to the guy who should, quote-unquote, should get the company, he leaves it to this plucky young inventor, Carrot Top. His name's not Carrot Top, but it's Carrot Top. And then, it's all about Carrot Top, like, trying to save the company and trying to keep his job while the board works against him. We're old.
Yeah.
White. They're all white. It's a white board, let's face that.
I mean, it's a movie in the 90s, I imagine, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yep. But, okay, legitimately, the goofy gadgets he comes up with are all fun. Anybody who tries to claim that they like fucking Pee-wee Herman and doesn't like Chairman of the Board, you're just a jackass. It's the same visual aesthetic, the weird, the Rube Goldberg machine kind of stuff, and wacky big inventions, just like his big wacky bike. No, bro, same aesthetic. Chairman of the Board. If you've never tried Chairman of the Board, it plays. Try Chairman of the Board. The
worst part is I have images in my head, but they're not connected to anything. That's why I say I don't remember shit. Like, as you're talking about it, I'm like, oh, that sounds familiar. Yeah. But I must have watched this when I was really young and probably in Spanish.
That, or you watched it with me and my brother at that point in our lives where we were really just drinking like we were trying to die.
That's probably true. That's how I saw Problem Child 1 and 2, I believe.
Oh, fantastic. Oh my god, can we do a whole episode on movies with gingers? Because Problem Child segues perfect into that off the Chairman of the Board. Problem Child 1 and 2 are so good.
Yeah, they're fucking solid. There were times where even I wasn't rooting for the main character. Like,
there's points in time where you're looking at poor John Ritter and you're like, if you just hit him once, look, I'm not a
no, especially
guy, but every once in a while you meet a kid, and you're like,
especially from the culture I come from, I was just like, motherfucker, just need a goddamn chancla. Just put him.
Nobody's whipped it off yet and threatened to huck that shit out. I've seen those things break the sound barrier,
like,
bro.
Threaten? What are you talking about? How do you think I got the divot on the back of my head? Child abuse.
But the best kind.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know if it counts as abuse if you use a shoe. Oh God, somebody's gonna take that too far.
Yeah, no,
I just
that's
put that in
true.
the world. I put that in the world, Eduardo. That's my bad.
Uh, you know what? The law of averages says that that's already happened, and there's a
Whew.
bet you an article about it.
At least it's not on me.
Yep. Nope, not on you. But anyways, we could do all gingers, but we have to throw some action movies too. It can't just be comedy.
I was thinking like maybe we need to throw a time period. Ginger movies of the 90s.
Okay. How about we do this? It'll be a little bit of homework, but for the next time we record, we'll have
Shit.
a list because we'll have a list, and then we'll do like we did with the Marvel movies. We ended up watching about one a week, and
Okay.
we can do that. We should come up with some rules. Let's not do like 30 movies because I'm not watching 30 weeks of Gingers. I feel like at that point
I can't stand it for that long.
it's not even that. It's just that is a lot of time that I'm spending not watching other things, and it's just
Yeah.
But depending on the time period, we could watch some Conan with some Red Sonja.
Conan wasn't ginger.
No, but she was. She had her own movie.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, like so it's like this Problem Child, that Chuck Norris movies for the 90s play.
Okay, is he a ginger?
He's not a ginger, but he's definitely got the red hair
Okay, fair enough.
and the red beard. He's got
yeah.
the red beard.
Okay, yeah.
There's a few. I
Definitely.
feel like there's some sleeper hits that aren't jumping out at us.
Well, if it's with, I mean, if we're talking Chuck Norris, we're talking about also a Bruce Lee movie that he's in, or is it starring?
I'd say starring.
Okay, there we go. That makes it a little bit harder.
I'd say
and,
starring.
Yeah, I feel like there's some we're missing. Like, what are some famous gingers other than Carrot Top?
I have to Google famous gingers.
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
no, you definitely should.
Somebody at Google headquarters like, the fuck is his problem?
Is it just my skewed opinion, or do we have a kind of warm feeling for Gallagher, like as an American population?
Look, again, I just talked about how if a shtick works, a shtick works. I think the Gallagher thing is funny.
Okay, but again, is it just because you and me are weird?
Maybe a little bit, but also remember that like I'm a big fan of bands like War and Ghost. I love a good theatric, and I think his because remember he does stand up. His whole show is not just smashing things.
Exactly,
not the whole show. He does stand up, and then he smashes some shit. And I think his stand up is funny, and then I like the theatric at the end of it.
For me, his stand up was what pulled me in.
Gallagher fucks.
Like the smashing stuff, at first I didn't get it because, I was younger and cultural references are weird. I didn't get it. I was like, why? And then it became funny because I started to understand. I got in on the joke. I was like, you have this set of people who pay a lot of money, in that time's money, to go see a dude to just get shit thrown on them.
Yeah.
And it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And after a while, you can see the joy that he gets of bathing these poor people in whatever he's fucking throwing at them, and they eat that shit up. It's funny. I enjoy it now. But,
okay.
Yep.
It's not quite a list, but I have some potentials.
And we're doing movies, right? Not shows, because CSI Miami, buddy. CSI Miami.
Not the 90s. That's the early 2000s.
Oh, shit, that's right. God, I'm old.
And this does introduce a couple of TV shows, but I think it'd be worth doing like 2 to 3 episodes.
Okay.
And again, this is just a smattering, right? This is not a definitive list or anything. But let me throw some out there for you.
All right.
Bobby Butnick from Salute Your Shorts, and if you want to do a movie with him in it, Terminator 2, he plays John Connor's best friend. He's in like 2 whole scenes.
Not starring. But
it is not starring. Okay, so the next 2 are ones where you're going to have to make an excuse for a television show.
Okay.
Roger Klotz from Doug, they gave bright fucking red hair.
Are we allowing cartoons? Are they real?
So the next one after that is Chucky Finster.
From Rugrats. No.
Okay, so you want a starring redhead that's again a little bit askew? Totally 90s though.
Sure,
it slaps.
Sure.
Chucky the Murderous Doll. Bright red hair, freckles,
Ooh.
Pale skin, stars in the movie. Chucky is 100% a 90s ginger.
It is. It hits all of the counts. He's not animated.
Correct?
Yeah, no.
Your wife is never gonna watch that movie with you, nor will mine.
Not at all.
I've been trying to get a big Chucky rewatch going because they're doing that show on Sci-Fi, and my wife is like, "No, not even during the day. No Chucky." So I gotta find like personal time to watch.
That's
Chucky.
funny. Yeah.
I like Chucky.
It hits all the criteria. I mean, I'm not gonna watch all of them. We'll do like one.
I'll probably watch all of them.
You go ahead. I'm not. I just
how do you start Chucky and not at least get to Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky with Jennifer Tilly as an evil fucking doll and she nails it? It's so good.
I like to go 1, skip fucking everything else, and just watch Bride of Chucky.
Hold on. Is it 3 where he's in the army?
Yeah, it's one of the fucking worst ones.
It's one of the best ones.
One of the worst fucking ones.
It's right up there with Leprechaun in Space.
No.
And Jason X.
I love Jason X.
Which is also Jason X. It's so good.
I love Jason X. I'm not gonna lie. Most of the like schlock in space shit did it for me.
Yeah. It just works.
Yeah. It just feeds the schlock.
Are you a Critters fan?
I don't know. Which one was this? I'm a fucking what's the one? Tremors. I fucking love Tremors.
My wife loves Tremors, and we've been trying to. We got to do a Tremors rewatch, but there's like 9 Tremors movies now.
Yeah.
It's some god awful number.
Well, it's kind of crazy because the first one's good because it was the first one, but then like once one of the other characters becomes more predominant, like they kill. I love it.
So Critters is Gremlins from space, essentially. They're little green like essentially mouths, and they have little spines on their back that they can shoot, and they roll into balls and roll around. And
no, I don't think I've seen this.
You should do Critters.
Okay.
It's so bad. Do you like Gremlins?
I have interesting memories about Gremlins.
You'll probably like Critter. Okay, so 2 more for you. Do you want me to get the other TV show out of the way just so we can set it?
Sure, hit me with it.
Pete and Pete. 2 gingers starring in the show.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
You've never seen Pete and Pete?
No. Never even heard of it.
Bro, Pete and Pete is like 90s Nickelodeon, like...
Oh, yeah, okay. Fucking Nickelodeon. Remember, no cable, no Nick.
No, I know you, but like that's one of those ones, like, I know you didn't see them, but you just mentioned Rugrats and Doug. Those were Nickelodeon shows.
Both Rugrats. So, no, Doug was free on public TV.
Oh, did Nickelodeon buy the rights to Doug? See, I know it from Nickelodeon.
Think so.
Okay, didn't know that.
And Rugrats had toys at fucking Burger King. That's how I knew them.
I know it from the Burger King toys.
I have never seen an entire Rugrats season.
Okay, so Pete and Pete was one of like the OG live action Nickelodeon shows.
Okay.
Essentially just a slice of life sitcom about 2 brothers both named Pete. Their dad named them both Pete.
And that was the gag?
Yes and no.
So
like
I actually
that
put a
was
graphic up for...
Sure. So that was more the quirk than any sort of gag.
Okay.
But Yeah, it was honestly, it was just 90s slice of life, but really weird. So, like, the younger brother already had a tattoo of a girl named Petunia, and he'd make her dance, and the other kids found it hypnotic. Their best friend was Artie, the strongest man in the world, and he was just this, like, eccentric 25 to 30-year-old who hung around with these kids.
That's weird.
The whole show was just that, like, oh fuck, who's the shit, the director who does all like the Royal Tenenbaums and all that shit. You know what I'm talking? Well, Wes Anderson.
Wes
It
Anderson.
was like a Wes Anderson TV show before Wes Anderson was Wes Anderson.
Oh, okay. I don't know how I feel about this, but
Honestly, I think you should try an episode or two of Pete and Pete just so you can say you tried an episode or two of Pete and Pete.
okay. Yeah,
And then the last one, it's not quite starring, but I consider it enough of an ensemble cast that I say it counts. And I can find other movies that he's in, again, not starring, but heavily in. The Sandlot, Ham Porter, the fat little ginger kid.
uh-huh. Hold on. If
I
it's
don't know his real name. I can look him up though because I know he's in a few other things. He's the
Yeah.
one. You're killing me, Smalls.
Well,
That's
no,
him.
no, 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 like the Big Green and all that. He was in.
He's also in a favorite of yours and mine, Dorm Days.
Yeah, he is.
He's got the sock that can cut skin.
Yeah. No, I remember who this is. Okay. Yeah. No, no, no.
Those are some good ads for some 90s ginger entertainment.
That is true. Okay, so we're gonna have to come up with a list. Let's keep it to like I don't know how long do you want to do this?
God, not very long.
Okay, so let's do three. We'll pick three gingerific films from the '90s that we will watch and then review to see if they hold up.
All right.
So, is Pete and Pete a show that you can watch the first episode and get a good idea of what the show's like?
You know, I probably haven't seen Pete and Pete since I was a child. I could not answer that. But I do think if we decide to do, let's set Pete and Pete aside.
Okay.
We'll do a Pete and Pete rewatch and we'll get Jay in.
Okay, yeah, that's fair because I feel like that's something he'd have lots of opinions on.
Yes. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
for sure, and emotions, and everything else.
Right.
Okay, so we'll do that. Yeah, we got to do more of these things. There are some classic ass movies. We started the Criterion Collection, and then we just fell right the fuck off.
That's a hard collection.
They really fucking are, dude. Like, don't get me wrong, I liked Brazil.
Brazil was great.
But what was the Baron von something or other?
I like The Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
It was just hard to get through.
One of my favorites, hands down. Love Baron Munchausen. In fact, going back and rewatching them, Time Bandits is probably, well, I don't know. It's hard to say. Guess I got to rewatch them all again.
I was about to say, like,
Guess I got to rewatch them all
admit that
again.
Time Bandits isn't as cool as you thought it was?
Oh, Time Bandits is still cool, but just compared to the other two,
I said as cool.
still cool.
Were you a big Blade Runner person? Original
No.
Blade Runner? No?
I never saw it as a kid. I didn't watch it until just a handful of years ago. My best friend, because he's not the biggest sci-fi guy, but that's his favorite sci-fi movie. So I sat down and watched it. But I started with the director's cut, and honestly, I was like, "Yeah, that was fine. Like, it wasn't bad. I didn't dislike it, but I don't know. I think I just saw it too late."
I have never seen the whole thing.
Yeah,
And I'm at the place where I'm afraid to now. Like, the meme.
You should see it to have finally seen it, but I do think you're gonna walk away largely like there's just, you already know it all. There's been so many parodies and so many takes and so many versions and so many concepts like that. Now you're gonna watch it and you're gonna go, oh, like it is good. I get that it's good, but my enjoyment of it is a little robbed because you just saw it too late.
Yeah, there's that, and I've always felt like I could never enjoy it now because there's been too much critique of it, too much film artistic critique to the point where it's been dissected so badly that it doesn't even feel like a whole movie to me anymore.
It's part of why I really suggest to my friends with kids. I like weirdly, I strongly push this on people. When you're ready to show your kid their first horror movie, you should make it Alien.
Mm.
Alien is the right starting point for horror movies. It just is. It's not too scary. It's other than one big graphic scene, it's not overly graphic.
Mm-hmm.
It's the right kind of horror. It's not bullshit jump scares. It's true mystery and chaos lead to panic and despair. It's got a good message behind it. It's well shot. It's well performed. Alien across the board.
It's got a solid bit of tension and everything, right? Like
yep.
it's done right.
Exactly. It's horror done right, and I strongly, and because starting with Alien, you get a good foundation for other things that will probably be ruined later.
Yeah, the biggest issue with movies now is that they tend to be so derivative that it's really hard to, if you start now and you go back and you're like, oh wait, that's already been done.
The reason I think me and Jay don't have a whole lot of problem with horror movies, especially the way me and him grew up with horror movies, we were desensitized to it by the cartoons of the time. Yeah. But things like Tiny Toons and Freakazoid were talking about pop culture, and so we got little bits. And so when we saw these things, we were like, "Oh, there's a cartoon of that. It's fine." That sort of helped to desensitize us to things. I guess, and that's probably not a grand unifying experience. That's probably just how broken me and Jay are. But it is the truth.
I mean, it feels that way for a lot of things. And my issue's always been, I didn't grow up with a mainstream media, like normal folks. So right. A lot of that stuff was ruined for me by the parodies and ruined for me by like things like Family Guy that, while they're not directly parodying, they are making callbacks to, right?
Or even just people who wanted to, like, I saw all of Monty Python and the Quest for the Holy Grail before I ever saw all of Monty Python and the Quest for the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Every scene had been quoted and shown and redone and parodied.
That happened a lot for me with, like, the Chappelle Show as well, right? Because even then, we still didn't have cable, right? Like, cable didn't happen until I got a job and I was able to pay for it on my own. So I missed most of the Chappelle Show because it was either we didn't have cable or I was deployed for the rest of it.
It's hard to get the Chappelle Show in Iraq. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean it is, especially when it's in the normal language. No, I'm kidding. You could get DVDs of it and stuff, but yeah, no, it was such a weird little spark that I just missed, and that's kind of what started my journey on this whole like. I don't watch shit that people are currently talking about because of that. That's one of the biggest reasons we're even now. Like, I haven't seen Game of Thrones. I intend to, probably once people stop completely talking about it. It's almost about time, I'm feeling, that I need to give the first couple seasons a watch.
Well, and the nice thing is you get to come into it knowing that the end isn't worth your time. So if you're not feeling it after like one season, though I will say that is one of those modern shows, you can't stop before the first season because it takes them about a full season to get to the characters to the point where any of them are interesting enough to carry a show.
Okay, that's tough.
So same with but it's the same with like Community, to be honest. Community, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing with their characters for at least half of the first season.
Community at least had fun and not just fun, hilarious gags from the beginning.
There's interesting things that happen for sure. Like you'll find yourself going, you ever watch especially with sci-fi shows, I know you're going to relate to this. You watch shows and you go, I don't care about this plot or this plot. I'm watching the whole show for this person and this plot.
Yeah.
The first season's going to kind of do that to you, where you're going to go, I don't care about any of these people except for this fucking guy. But then by the end of the first season, they pull a couple of like real big, didn't see that shit coming, did ya? And that, I think that's really like, I don't think the show was popular in its first season, but it wasn't like game changing. It wasn't Friends. It wasn't.
Yeah,
It wasn't Game of Thrones until about season 2 or 3, to be honest.
Yeah.
But if you can if there's anything you're interested, if you watch the first like 2 episodes, and you're like, there's nothing. There's not going to be anything. But if you watch the first 2 or 3 episodes and you go, I kind of like this, then hold on to it because they will pull you through those threads. But now you get the great warning of the ripcord. The ending is not a great payoff. Even the die-hard fans go, at best it was okay. Mostly people hated it. So if you do get it out and you're like, damn, I'm 3 seasons in and I'm feeling shaky, should I stick it out? You can go, nope. That's what I did with Breaking Bad, because I heard the Breaking Bad ending sucked. I made it 3 seasons into Breaking Bad and went, I like this, I don't love it, do I actually want to stick with this? And I cut off Breaking Bad, I was done.
Endings are hard also.
Endings are hard, but hey, some shows pull it off. Game of Thrones didn't even come close. Apparently, fucking George R. Martin had said a couple of times that he thought they needed 2 or 3 more seasons to land.
Oh, for sure.
And they were like, no, other projects. And then they got fired from all those projects.
Yeah, because they shot the bed on these projects. I mean,
shit the bed.
They pulled a Rian.
Yeah. I think you should watch it. I actually think Van could even kind of get into it because the scary parts are few and far between.
Yeah, I think so.
The one thing, though, you can't let the opening scene deceive her. So I'm going to give you a minor spoiler. Sure. Super minor. The show opens with zombies. Okay. Straight up motherfucking zombies.
She just finished watching a Korean zombie show, so...
Okay. So,
I think she'll be okay.
This opens up with straight zombies, but the zombies aren't even a B plot. They're like a Q plot.
Yeah.
They're this thing that bubbles in the background throughout the show. It is a thing, but it's real back burner for a while.
I mean, I always got the sense that it was kind of what a D&D session would be like, right?
It's more like what a Critical Role session is like.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
The talky drama parts are the bulk.
Yep.
And then the combat happens, so you go, oh, fuck, what? And then we go back to a lot of talky parts.
Yeah, it might be something that it's time to go watch. It's on HBO Max, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, I'll check it out. One show that we did check out, and I should have probably slotted for a full review, but we ain't got that kind of time today. Ghosts. On
Paramount
Plus.
While we talk, get a graphic for Ghosts if we're going to talk about it. Yeah, I was actually reading something recently where Paramount is apparently very surprised and happy at how well Ghosts is doing. That show's kicking some ass, and honestly, I'm so glad because I think it's super fun. It's finally a show that deals with some supernatural shit, but doesn't feel the need to handhold and treat the audience like they're an idiot who's never heard of a ghost before.
Yeah. Well, that, and also, up until very recently, they hardly even cared what the ghosts were or what they did, right?
Yeah.
So,
and I like that drip feeding of the world, because sure, the ghosts have tried some shit, but even with an infinite timeline, there's some shit you just ain't gonna try until you think of it.
Exactly. Well, and I like that the characters feel different enough, right?
And they have different points of view depending on how long they've been in the house.
That's exactly it. So like even the I like the little tidbits where the Viking just drops little things like, oh yeah, I remember that.
The Viking and the Native American, hands down my 2 favorite characters.
100%.
And I love that the 2 who've existed the longest are kind of the chillest and most woke. Not because I'm like, I identify, but because it makes sense. Once you've seen everything, even the Viking is actually pretty calm and reserved, all things considered, because there's been nothing but time for them to kind of work through shit. So, yeah, they're just kind of here and hanging out.
Yeah,
they're all thumbs.
The weirdest part, what I didn't expect about the show, is that it kind of has heart. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the weirdest bit for me, where I thought it was gonna be just a funny haha sitcom. Like, sure, they'll have touching moments between the main characters and whatever. It's sitcom fodder, but
Yeah.
no, there's some legitimate
Moments.
moments, and we may be thinking about the exact same one, but like, it was such a weird pull and came out of fucking nowhere.
Oh, the show has a few. You're caught up, right?
I finished. I mean, there's only one season, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I finished it then.
Okay. Yeah. There's a few that like the show feels very genuine. Yeah. And what's funny is the two leads are people that I've seen in other things. So he has been sort of like a B or C character in lots of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love getting to see him lead something. And then she was in iZombie, which you were a fan of, right? I thought
I liked
so.
it. I saw the entire first season, but after that, I was just
Oh, we watched the whole thing.
fair.
A lot of fun, and it took my wife and I a while to realize who she was because we were so used to seeing her ultra pale with the dyed white hair, and it was just enough to throw us off that we went, "Fuck, it is her."
Oh, it's this person. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. All around, super fun show. The only thing that's disappointing to me, and it even like just based on this graphic, it looks like we're going to drop it. You know, there's one more ghost that we just don't talk about.
Yeah.
The greaser with his head cut off.
Yeah, what the fuck happened?
I think we're just dropping the character.
Episode 1 and episode 2, maybe 3 had a reference.
Yes.
And that's about it.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
And even like, look at this image you got. He's not in there at all. Although he would be one of the easiest characters to work in. Hand him his head. He walks around holding his head. Done.
Yep. Or, you know what? Like, they put his head in a cupboard and that's it.
Something. Yeah, he's a head that pops up in weird places all over the house. Yeah, I don't know how to get around either. Or whatever. But they just dropped it, and I was actually interested in that character, damn it.
So was I. I thought it was funny. But it seemed like they either used him as a one-off gag or some contractual thing happened and they cut him out of the show.
I guess, yeah. Like the pilot in the first episode of Lost, he was supposed to be on for a couple of seasons and then went to do Heroes instead, and they killed him off in the first episode.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sucks. Or damn, I just had it too. Who was it? Left 90210 to do a film, and the film was fucking horrible.
Was it? Is that the girl from Showgirls?
Showgirls, yeah. Was that? She was 90210, right?
No, it was Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell. Oh, okay.
Same with the Lieutenant Yar, who left Star Trek Next Generation for her film career, then did like Pet Sematary and nothing.
Yeah, that's right. They're having a couple of missteps. You know, the one that
we all can't have an amazing career.
That's
okay?
true.
I mean, we all can't be you and me here, Eduardo, who've done nothing but make positive steps and worked our way to the top.
I know, and right from the bottom straight to the top. Son.
Damn right.
Yeah, no, look at us. We've been doing this podcast for about 10 years at this point. Straight to the top.
I'm kind of hoping that one day when we're geriatric, they'll be like, this is the longest running podcast ever.
Yeah, win some weird ass award, but you know, it's fun. I enjoy the 3 people that listen at this point, and Justin Bieber.
And Justin Bieber, yeah.
For sure. I've been playing some other shit and looking forward to the new Horizon coming out, but I kind of been chilling, man. I'm at the point right now where like I'm working real hard just to for the man. No, not even close. The man.
For the man.
And on my time off, I've just been falling back on those comfortable shows. I watched some more Letterkenny, and I think I'd mentioned that to you. I finally
mentioned it to me.
I have mentioned it to him.
You have mentioned it.
Oh, come on. We're going to go full walk in here?
No, we're not. Okay, cool.
Okay, just making sure. That was a walk-in check every so often, you know. Second scariest man alive behind Willem Dafoe, actually.
Truth.
Actually, Prophecy holds up.
I've never seen The Prophecy.
Oh man,
I know. That's like
it's got this weird, creepy, and amazing guest spot from Vigo.
Vigo.
Well, for someone who doesn't like those movies, you make a lot of fucking references.
Because I've seen them 1,000 times.
Yeah,
I was just telling my wife today, I'm like, are we really going to watch Willow when it comes out? And she's like, yeah, why wouldn't we? I'm like, because it's in my soul. I think I'm finally at the point where I can't really tell you what it's about anymore. So maybe it's time I rewatch the original Willow.
I've never seen it.
Dude, hold on. Here's what I'm going to do is I'm not going to tell the story. You tell the story of why I don't like Willow, because you've heard the story with 1,000 other movies.
It's the same fucking story.
Do it.
Bonsai's brother is a bit of a film connoisseur in the sense that he likes to take a film and connoisseur it right up his ass for repeated viewings over and over and over and over and over, which consequently is the same amount of times I've heard this fucking story. So
he did this. This is his fault. He did this to you.
Exactly. And we're actually gonna have him on here to do some reviews with us, and then we can give him shit live. But yeah, so there's things like Ghostbusters, which I thoroughly enjoy. I have this cockamamie idea that I'm gonna take the next vehicle I purchase and turn it into an Ecto vehicle, just like this brand new rig that I built is very quickly going to turn into a Ghostbusters themed rig, because it's white all over. It's got a glass panels. It's pretty. Well, we'll post some pictures. I like Ghostbusters. I saw the new one. We didn't talk about it. Have you seen the new one?
I have not.
Oh, come on. You've got to check it out.
I mean, I plan to, just as soon as it's up somewhere for very cheap or free.
Yeah, that's true. I was surprised that they weren't releasing it.
I'm not rushing to the theater for that.
I think I paid for it on Amazon or something, rented it.
Okay.
So I checked.
I wish the Jackass movie was streaming somewhere, because I actually really do want to see that.
Oh yeah, do you think Jackass is gonna be any better without Bam?
Can't really be any worse.
I mean, there isn't really a worse for those kinds of things.
Right. Did somebody get hit in the nuts? T motherfucking he.
Yeah, I will say though that the whole crew brought a thing that I don't know that some of them, because they all tried to do their solo projects and some did okay.
One of them worked.
That's true. But yeah, no. Anyways, I don't know, man. Are there any movies you're looking forward to? Because we usually talk about like the upcoming films and shit, but with the, I don't know, Multiverse of Madness, is that the next one?
Yeah.
Have you seen the trailer?
No.
You're such a piece of shit. Me neither.
I watched a couple of the Moon Knight trailers, but not this most recent one. Looks like Moon Knight's cool. He's one of those characters that like I have an easy time with, because they're not a character I directly read. They're a character who showed up in other things I read. Okay. So I don't have any hard, like I know the broad strokes at best. So they can kind of do whatever the fuck they want. And I'm going to go like, yay, Moon Knight. And I like Oscar Isaac, so Isaacs, whatever. Yep. So, you know, I'm in for some Moon Knight, but like I got pretty low standards for Moon Knight. So cool.
You know which film I'm entirely neutral on that's supposed to, like, some people are hyped for is Morbius.
Oh god, it's gonna be terrible. He's terrible. It's gonna be terrible.
Yeah, I'm not hyped. It'll be what it'll be.
Legitimately, probably just like Venom, which to this day I still have not seen Venom. I'm still really not planning on watching Venom. I'm not interested. Morbius is probably gonna fall in that tank. I just don't care. I don't care.
I just don't care, and we're putting that on your tombstone.
It's fair. We're at that weird time where we're both over the number hour, but not over the minutes, where I think we can pad it. If you want to pad, we'll pad this bitch up, or we can call it. I'm going to leave it up to you. My brave co-host.
Oh, yes, brave. That's what we call it nowadays. I definitely don't want to pad it, but I do want to do a quick bit. Finished Friends.
Do it.
I feel like it's gonna be a while before I rewatch it. This was a series that, while was near and dear, I just I guess I have a different lens, and I will say that I got really annoyed at some of the characters. It just doesn't hold up. They're cruel for no reason at times.
Yep.
One of the characters I was surprised that I liked a lot less now was Phoebe. She was always one of my favorites because, like her, I too am an agent of chaos. But that being said, I think it probably made me just feel like shit of all the stupid shit I used to do. So maybe it's just a weird dark mirror. But yeah, she's kind of fucking mean sometimes. And then we've already talked enough shit about Rachel. That horse is dead and wearing a fucking tiara.
Okay.
Why not?
Not a saying, but we'll go with it. It's a saying now.
It's working with the little fucking princessy attitude that Rachel had throughout the whole goddamn series. Yeah, no, they were all kind of bad people. They constantly lied to each other. Some of their lovable quirks weren't as lovable. Good God, Monica sometimes. Like, she almost single-handedly ruined Phoebe's wedding. Like, things like that, right? Things that I don't remember being fuck awful. So I think I'm getting old and curmudgeon-y. I think that's what's happening.
I feel like coming out of Friends, you need to rewatch How I Met Your Mother now. Because it's newer, and yet there are still some themes where you go, ooh, fuck him for that.
Yeah. So that's another one that I feel like has been ruined for me. I try to go back and rewatch it, and I go, man, this was so much better the first go through.
Oh, I still love that show. That show gives me all the feels.
I don't know, man. I think Ted Mosby's kind of a douche.
He is, but that's part of the charm of just because of the main character doesn't mean they have to be a good guy. I actually kind of appreciate that Ted is a piece of shit who has to grow and learn.
But I don't think he does. That's the fucking problem.
He doesn't about everything, but nobody's perfect. He has things he gets better about, and he has things that he just kind of remains being a person. I appreciate Ted Mosby.
I guess as much as I also shipped Mosby and Robin, I just don't like how they did it. It just seems really fucking weird.
Oh, I'm the opposite. I do not ship Ted and Robin. It never should have happened. Kill the wife, but he didn't need to get with... Okay, play us out.
Check us out Monday nights, 7 to 8 Pacific, N5D podcast on YouTube. Tuesday nights we're actually doing still doing metagame multiplayer night. That's twitch.tv/metagame network. We had like 7 people showing up to play last week, so check it out. We got quite a few folks on there. Other than that, I think Bias Bros is still on hiatus for a sec.
Correct.
All right. Well, nothing to do about that. Final notes there, Bonsai.
You just got me all worked up about... I need to finish Scrubs, and then I'm going right back into How I Met Your Mother now, and that's your fault.
Bye.
Bye.